Hi, welcome to the Pursuit of Truth. Just a quick one, as I always like to say. I was been thinking like the last few days about a lot of the things I say on the Pursuit of Truth. The ideas of what most people call utopian, that of making this world better again, part of what's fueled the Isolated Humanity project. Thinking that if you can make people aware of the suffering that's going on, but we already know all that anyway, but I just think now, and I know I've expressed this before many times, is I wonder whether it is actually even possible to change now. Are we too far gone? Because everything, that there's so many systems out there, I think that's the thing. When you look at the systems of different countries, for a start, different ways of running the system, their own country, different, capitalism, communism, socialism, different religions. Even if you just break it down into the micro, as subtle Infinity would say, that, or the macro, whichever one it is. If you look at, say, religion, the Christian religion, how many different versions there are, and they can't even agree on those things. Even people who are in a married couple will have arguments about something that they probably don't even involve them, but still everyone can have a difference of opinion. When you look at this Jacob Blake incident, there'll be people who will look at him resisting arrest, wrestling with a police officer and reaching for a possible weapon in his car as maybe not justification, but a sort of argument for why the police did what they did. Although it was still, even if you use that as an argument, there's still an extreme use and a rather cowardice use of a weapon. And then you've got this recent incident in Wisconsin and the riots with I don't know his name, the guy with the machine gun who was being apparently attacked, chased, and then shot two people, one in the face. If my understanding is correct. Obviously, you'll get some people who will say, well, wait a minute, he was being chased, and maybe previous to the clip that we're shown, maybe he was being beaten up, maybe for a reason, I don't know, but not that I'm trying to say that violence is okay, but it's just like you get people that will say, well, like Donald Trump is saying that, oh, he was defending himself, and then you'll get obviously other people like maybe more pro Black Lives Matter will say that, oh look, he shot two black people. It seems like the world is so confused. There seems to be no right. It's possible in that situation that both parties were wrong. The same as with Jacob Blake, you could say that both parties may have been wrong, but that doesn't justify killing someone. That's the ultimate, especially like if you think about religion in Islam, it says about killing of one person is like killing all of mankind. But I just see all these things, all this fuel, these arguments, and some people will say, like they said in my video, one guy said, it's a psyop, it's all set up to keep us fighting against each other. And in part, I do believe in that. But I believe it's not someone, some Illuminati that's controlling it. It's something that we actually are doing ourselves, because we bought into the system that we're taught as children of being different, of you being black, I'm being white, you being American or Russian, me being English or whatever, and we buy into those systems, and then naturally we want to protect those systems without knowing that we're doing it most of the time. So I don't know, there's so much programming, as it were, that is in all of us. Even myself, I fall into these traps, in the fact that all the things I'm saying on these things about us all being brothers and sisters, all being one thing, This suffering is going all on, but I'll still carry on eating, I'll still carry on watching television, I'll still carry on sleeping fine. Whereas I shouldn't really. It should be impossible for anyone to sleep when they know that there are people out there, millions of people, it's not just a few. You may not be able to see them, they may not even be in the country that you're within. Well, there is actually, there's everywhere there are people suffering because of the system that we're living within. But how do we change it? Is it possible to change it? That's the thing that I'm starting to think, because when you see all these different situations that happen, when you see elections, when you see that no person that you have a chance to elect is actually going to change anything for the better for everyone. Is it possible to make everyone happy all at one time? There's that maxim that's impossible, but that's a maxim that's made up by a person who lives within this system. Why is it impossible to make everyone happy when we're free to do whatever we choose to do? It is possible, it's just that the system that we live in makes it impossible, because we have to have all these other constraints like money, like society, like the system, and etc. But then you think about all the bad people in the world, as it were, that may be a product of the system, like criminals that may go into criminality because they have no money, because the way the system is, because you have to work for everything, and you have to have a trade, you have to have that educational understanding to be able to do that, but not everyone has that. How do you change people's minds when they're already down that road? That's the frustration that I'm coming up with now, that it doesn't matter what people say. I mean, on YouTube, people say it all the time. People have been saying on television, people have been writing about it, making films about it. When you look at the works of Dickens or of Orwell or H.G. Wells, or who's the guy who wrote I can't remember, Trials of Philanthropist, I can't remember the title of it now. There's loads of these works out there that maybe talk about aspects of human suffering and make us understand that we should change. Everyone every year watches A Christmas Carol, or Scrooge, as some people like to call it, by Charles Dickens, where that's the whole point of the story, is that Scrooge is this selfish person who only cares about himself and uses the system to get away with it by using prisons. Are there no poor homes and prisons for these people? That's the system he's talking about. And yet at the end, he realizes all this and wants to change and wants to help everyone. We all know about that story. Yeah, it's made no difference to us. We just laugh, or we just think of, oh yeah, it's such a brilliant story, and yet we don't take anything with it. Maybe we will for a minute or two, and that's it. And we go back into the same system. We become Scrooge ourselves. Even those ones of us that believe that we're perfect or good or morally just somehow. We look at the people of religion, that the weight that's on them, because they're told about, you're your brother and sister's keeper, that we're all children of God, we're all one. And yet look what's going on. Why is that the case? There's no anger, there's no voice to say, look, stop the way that we're living. There's a lot of powerful religious people, and there's a lot of countries that are fueled by powerful religious people, or that religious people could have a say, and yet still we live like this, where there's suffering everywhere, every second of the day. I mean, if maybe when it comes to, Day of Judgment, when we're dead and we get to see all the things that we've done, maybe we'll all have to sit through the suffering that we allowed to go by, claiming that we were somehow just or good or doing the right thing. And yet we'll be shown how selfish we were, because we have to sit through our lifetime of suffering that happened to other people around us that we may not have known about, but we do know now, especially, you can't use that excuse because of the internet, because of satellites and etc. We all see around the world all the suffering every single day. But if we all could see that suffering, if we could see, I don't know how many millions of people or thousands of people there may be suffering every single second somewhere. You wouldn't be able to eat, you wouldn't be able to sleep before you put it right, or if you could, then that maybe says something about humanity. I don't know. It's just I feel frustrated that I don't know how this world can be changed, how it can be made better, how the suffering can stop for these people that are suffering and ultimately maybe losing their life to that only one chance of life. Take care, take it easy, God bless, and peace.